So this is the last section for homework 4, question 16 to question 20. Let's look at question 16. Look at the figure change in total surplus. Which areas represent the change in total surplus when the price falls from P2 to P3? So P2 is here, P3 is here, P2 to P3 is a price drop. And what is the change in total surplus? At P2, what do we have? We have a market equilibrium price and a market equilibrium quantity. So the whole green triangle area I just lined out, that is our total surplus, A, B, C, D, E, F. Okay, A, B, C, D, E, F. This whole triangle area is our total surplus at P2. If the price falls to P3, right? Let's give you the P3. This is the price, and the quantity will be here. Okay, got to grab that line. This is the quantity. Why this quantity? Because the producers, the sellers at P3, they only would like to bring in this amount. Okay, this is the amount they will bring in. Yeah, the buyers, certainly would like to buy more. Their quantity demanded. I actually have this. I have to get it here. Let's do this. This way I can get it. The quantity demanded is much higher than the quantity supplied, but this shortage is not supplied. So the only quantity traded in the market is this quantity. And now we are pretty sure about the producers. Producer only get area F, this small triangle, as their producer surplus. Okay, this green one. But how about the consumers? Obviously, consumers can get A, B, and D, right? Those consumers with a higher willingness to pay, they will certainly be able to enjoy this low price. And how about the consumers in this area? Maybe they have less willingness to pay than these consumers, and what they can do what we call the retail arbitrage. They can, wait at the door of the store, right? Pay P3 and then put the stuff on eBay or Amazon to sell at a higher price, maybe P1, or if all the supply have been exhausted, they can mark up the price even higher. So eventually the consumers, right, the consumer surplus will look like this. And let me change its color. Change it to red is used, orange. Okay, so this consumer surplus is this area, A, B, and D. And the change in the total surplus, well, is certainly just the triangle here. Let me start from this equilibrium point here, and finally here. Again, let's use this light blue. This triangle here is the change, right? Initially at the market equilibrium, we have A, B, C, D, E, F. And then after we lower the price, there created a shortage. We have less quantity supplied. We have only A, B, D, and F. We lost this triangle, and that's the answer we are looking for. Okay. Question 17. We're looking at coffee and tea are substitutes in consumption. If there's an increase in the price of coffee, assuming a positively sloped supply curve and a negatively sloped demand curve, total surplus in the tea market. So price of coffee changes. What about the tea market? Still, I will do this reasoning. So price of coffee rises, then my quantity demanded in coffee drops, but to satisfy my need for caffeine, I would need to consume more tea. So it's basically the demand for tea rises. That's what's gonna happen. Okay, and let's look at this picture. After the price of coffee increased, I have a new demand for tea moving out. Okay, so let me, instead of just moving it, let's draw a new demand curve, kind of move it out. And this one is probably way out there. So make it looks like this is the new demand. And then what happened in the total surplus, right? The total surplus in the tea market in the old equilibrium is this green triangle. Now we have higher equilibrium price and higher equilibrium quantity. Okay, let me show you. That's higher equilibrium price, higher equilibrium quantity. Okay, and then what do we have? We have a new total surplus. Now you can see this orange-like triangle. This triangle is larger than the green triangle, so that's our answer, right? That's our answer. Okay, now look at question 18. If the technology of producing peanuts improves, total surplus in the peanut butter market will do what? This about peanuts. Peanuts are used, they are the main inputs in producing peanut butter. Your main input has a better technology, means your main input become in generally cheaper to produce. Then the cost to produce the final product, the peanut butter, is lower. So the supply should increase in that market. Let's look at this picture. The supply increase means I have a new supply somewhere out here. Okay, the new supply. And then what we are looking at, we have a new total surplus area. Now, seems that you can cut this little triangle on the bottom out, but it basically seems that we do have higher total surplus, right? The question only asks about the total surplus, so that's fine. We have what? We have a lower price in the market and a lower equilibrium price and a higher equilibrium quantity in the market. Then certainly the consumer surplus increase, right? Lower price, and given the demand curve doesn't change, you have higher consumer surplus. The producer surplus seems to be increasing as well, mainly because the lower cost. The cost now is lower, and the willingness to sell is lower, even though the selling price, right? You have a lower selling price, sure, but the producers are selling more, and their cost is much lower. So the producer surplus also increased. Okay, that's our question number 18. Let's look at question 19. Well-defined property rights. A can allow for mutually beneficial trades. Yes, you can tell which this product, which this service is belong to, right? Belong to. Then you got to pay to buy it. Then that's mutually beneficial trade. If you don't want to pay that price, you don't get it product. That's about it. If the property rights is not well defined, somebody wants something, they just go to the store and grab it. What will happen is eventually the supply won't be there, because if their fruit of labor, right? They put in time and the labor and all the trouble to provide that product or service into the market, it can be taken away without any compensation. Then why do you provide it to the market in the first place? Or why do you provide it in the first place? Unless it's forced, right? That's basically slavery. So you have to have well-defined property rights so that mutually beneficial trades can happen, and the market can work. All right, if you have well-defined property rights, will result in government regulation. Actually, we need government regulation or government intervention when the property rights is not well defined. If it is well defined, the government can just enforce the property rights, and then the trade can happen. Okay. C. Well-defined property rights often results in more market failures. No, the market failures actually come from what? Not very well-defined property rights. Then you will have market failure. The market transaction cannot resolve the issue. Then you need a government regulation. Okay, but if the property rights are well defined, then the market should work pretty fine. Okay, D. Well-defined property rights lead to more centralized decision making. Actually, the centralized decision making, like a social planner, centralized social planner, right? Decision made from Washington rather than locally. What's gonna happen is basically that will infringe on property rights. It will kind of sabotage or hurt property rights, invade property rights, not protect property rights. Okay, so with well-defined property rights, you can let people to make decentralized decisions and conduct mutually beneficial trades. That's what economics tells us, and actually what economic history tells us. All right, let's look at question 20. Economic signals is the price in the marketplace. That's what we are talking about. Okay, if that price is there, then mutually beneficial trades can happen. The market reach into equilibrium, there won't be shortages or surpluses, right? If there's shortages, the signal will say what? I'm rising, the price is rising, and people want this stuff. The buyers produce at a higher cost, but they will bring more product to the market. And if there's surplus, right, the price should drop. The signal is selling. The signal will say, right, we have too much of this product in the market, and price drop. Producers produce less. The surpluses will go away given time. Okay, look at B. Economic signals interfere with the trades that can be mutually beneficial. No, the economic signals, the price in the marketplace, actually lead to the trades that can be mutually beneficial. That's what we have explained in A. C. Economic signals guide decision makers in their transactions in the marketplace. Yep, That is what we are saying, right? The economic signals let the decision makers to make decentralized make decisions, their own decisions, and the transactions will be mutually beneficial. So C has no problem. B, there's no interference. A, that the signals, economic signals, will make the shortages or surpluses disappear. Just to be clear. Okay, D, economic signals never provide adequate information to consumers. What we say is actually the economic signals, the market price, sometimes can be more informational. Okay, even on Amazon, you can see a lot of pictures, videos, reviews, a lot of high stars rating for a product. But if its price is not really there, right, you want to check the 0 star, 1 star reviews, because those stars may actually tell you the truth. The 5, 4 stars, they may be bought. Okay, so sometimes the price actually tells you the quality, tells you the reliability, the quality of the craftsmanship, the quality of the materials, right? We understand better craftsmanship, better materials cost more. So we sometimes you can actually rely on that signal, right? Something to worry about is super cheap. Probably quality won't be there. Okay, that's question 16 to 20 for homework 4.